Hi, welcome to another episode of The Pipeline, a podcast where we like to showcase and display top producer real estate businesses and agents who are at the forefront of their market, dominating the real estate and their industry. And today I'm very excited to have one of our partners and friends, Arno De Vos. His website is devospresents.com, and you're going to be able to see a lot of videos from him after this one. So I can't wait to see what he has to share with us today. Welcome, Arno, and please tell us more a little bit about you.
I think when you're childhood and you don't even realize what sticks in your mind. And now, now that I'm not a child anymore, you look back and you realize that even I grew up in South Africa, and even in South Africa, Miami was definitely, from TV shows and things like that, was in my mind. So it definitely made sense that, I ended up in Miami real estate. I came from a finance background. So I love looking at the numbers and things like that, which, when you're dealing with high net worth people, they also in some way, shape or form are kind of analytical. So that's who I enjoy to work with. I've spent the lion's share, 11 or 12 years in real estate, working for various developers, launching beautiful luxury condominium projects, and obviously active on the general side as well. And listen, Miami is a very, very dynamic market. We're really fortunate as brokers to work in this market, not just because it's a beautiful place, but the developers here, I think, like nobody else in the community has, is unrivaled. And it's not just my opinion. You know, when you speak with these brokers from other big markets, whether it's New York, whether it's Boston, whether it's Chicago, whether it's LA, they're always amazed at our new development landscape, at not just the product, but also how tools are provided to out there. And I think it speaks volumes as to this broker community and this real estate community at large. So yeah, I mean, I love South Florida real estate, and it's exciting to be able to represent it and to share with people, because it's a unique story on a global scale. And sometimes we forget that, you know what I mean? We do these showings, you pay attention to your client when they're walking in, and see it on their faces where they've seen the world, they can be anywhere, and they walk in, they go, my God, this is really special. And then you go, it is it is special, isn't it? Even though it's Monday, whatever.
It's a beautiful landscape. I do agree with you, Arno. And let me ask you, what was the early beginnings of Arno De Vos in new developments? How did that look like for you? What were some of your main challenges in the real estate industry when real estate business? Right.
Specifically on the new development side. Well, I think like anything, when you're new in there, you don't have the relationships with brokers that some of your colleagues may have. So, it's really being able to effectively introduce yourself to the broker community, I think, is so important, because whenever somebody brings their client into the sales gallery, they may only have them once or twice a year. So it's a big hand. So if they're bringing you a buyer into the sales gallery, they're entrusting you. So if you're a new person in the new development space, and you have 3 or 4 fantastic colleagues on the team with you, in reality, they're almost competing with you. So it's not always a rotation. So again, to answer your question, it was really, how do I there's a comfort level, I can speak their client's language, I can close them. And there are certain things that I did, I think, effectively to put myself in front of the broker community and let them know, number one, I exist, and number two, I know what I'm
100%.
Do that through videos and things like that,
I was one of the questions that I asked our clients is, how do you manage to run your real estate business and at the same time generate new business? Mm-hmm. Because we all know your sphere, so we want to know your experience on how do you generate new business, how do you stay in front of the people that you want to work with. What are the best practices of Arno in that approach?
I'd say the last 3 or 4 years, a big learning curve has been, can't do everything, right? There are so many fantastic avenues that we have and that we can utilize on the marketing side. And for a while there, I was trying to, if you're doing videos and if you're diving into social media and if you're doing direct mail, you're going to be not spending in direct community clients or following up with new clients, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it makes sense to automate certain things, certainly on the lead generation side, whenever possible. because if you are going to be spending time and actually investing in physical and personal time, you want to make sure that it makes sense. So certainly at the offset, automation in place that they can at least demonstrate to you some real interest, right? So I love the fact that we're in this day and age able to reach individuals through technology that are very well qualified, but at the same time, because of that, no matter how good the technology is, you're going to have leads that aren't as well qualified that come in as well. And you don't want to be wasting time on those leads. Is that automation to kind of, vet that without you having to waste time. So whether it is with email drip campaigns or text automated responses, et cetera, et cetera. And then certainly, doing things like I like to do some real estate videos. And what's good about video is besides the SEO action it gets you organically, besides the exposure that it gets you for people that are typing in those keywords and looking for that information, once you create a video and it's out there, whether it's on YouTube or Vimeo or social media, it lives on. So you could be at dinner, to a reunion, wherever you are. Those videos are out there. And what never ceases to amaze me is I will be sitting with my wife, and I'll get a WhatsApp message from a gentleman in XYZ country saying, hey, I just watched this video of your, if that's not available, what else do you have that's similar? And that blows my mind because I did that video 6 months ago, right? So as far as the lead generation, I think that video is really, really important. And certainly, like I said, don't try and do everything. You almost have to, you can't be the king of TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all these things. So for me personally, yes, I'd still do someone on Facebook. But Instagram, I think, is very important. And, it's really just picking that platform and focusing on it and the way in which you're doing it. You know what I mean? Whether it is, am I going to really try and do organic engagement and try and I'm just going to use this platform for lead generation, which is the route that I've taken. So I create content, I put things out there, but I've been more intent and strategic in using those social media platforms for lead generation and putting myself in front of people that have already engaged with me previously. And it's amazing how effective it can be.
I agree with you, and you're very knowledgeable on what you're saying. You have a lot of experience, and we know that the power of video content and strategically creating this content with the end goal of assisting and automating some of the business is the goal. But there is a lot of agents out there today that are not aware yet that the internet is a place to generate and engage with leads. And I always ask this question, and I like to know from the agents, when was that moment? Because right now you're at a very advanced level, right? You already have automations, you already have a website and a lead generation flow, and you're thinking about creating more content to put out there for your clients, which is amazing. That's amazing. But when was that moment for you when you realized in your career, a website may be the way of going, or going digital even? What was that for you?
So, what's interesting is that I've had my website through you guys now for, I think, about 1.5 years or so. And admittedly, you're the third company I've used in the last 5 years, not in the last 4 years. So, how they say, you have to kiss some frogs before you marry the prince, that kind of thing, right? I'll give you a very brief kind of history. The first one, website company. I wanted to use a company that was creative, but was outside of real estate because I wanted something that was unique in all these things. So we had to create a lot of the pages, right? Which was fine. But, the leads that came in were of decent quality, the volume that I needed. The second one was a company out of California that creates these beautiful websites. I mean, just extremely sexy, elegant, beautiful websites. I'm sure they've won plenty of awards. So the website looked beautiful, and I was really proud of it. But then I was like, listen, I need to get some leads coming in from this website. So, the reason why you and I initially started talking is saying, having something that's beautiful and sexy and great to look at is good. But why can't I have my cake and eat it too? Is that, we could set up that thing that's aesthetically pleasing, but more so, I went and I sought you guys out because obviously you're active primarily in the real estate space, and the proof of the pudding's in the eating. And not to be all things to all people, but I know the markets that I'm active in, and I wanted to be able to put that content in front of end users in a way that's comprehensive, that customized. But in reality, a lot of it is kind of plug and play, but I didn't want it to be too generic. So kind of finding that balance, because I think it's important to have something that's aesthetically pleasing, that kind of represents what your mini brand is, but have it also serve its purpose, which is I need people to reach that. And that's what the website so far has been doing. So, you know, I would much rather have, you know, a decent amount of really good quality leads than have a huge influx of leads, and the vast majority of them is low quality. So that's kind of why I'm taking the strategy that I am.
No, and I love everything that you said. And I think that those are industry pains. Those are industry pains across the nation for every real estate agent that still don't understand the power of having their own platform, right?
Right.
You have experienced already several levels of the technology side of it, where you hire technologies created, but now everything that you generate is for your brand, for your business. And, you know, it's about re-engaging and you know, approaching a new pipeline of quality leads. I appreciate your insight so much, because I think that not everybody can understand the technology side and can explain it as you have today. And I think it's very valuable for agents to hear it from one of their peers and somebody that is so successful at what he does, like you are. And, you know, I always like to provide value to them and to somebody that may be just starting on the real estate career and the real estate business. And I would like to ask you, what are some of the best practices on or offline that you consider are key to your success that you may want to share with other agents?
Well, I think once you have identified people, whether they are repeat customers or you know, clients, depending on your relationships, whether you can say clients or customers, but whether these are folks that are coming back to you, or if you have identified them as being very well qualified, even if they're relatively new to, you know, I will follow up with somebody if I know that they're qualified and I know that they love Miami for probably a longer amount of time than many brokers would. That to me is key as far as giving that individual follow-up. The fact of the matter is, every single person, especially in a market like Miami, where there's literally tens of thousands of licensed agents, how do you differentiate yourself? For me, I've chosen to differentiate myself by demonstrating to these people that they're not just a number to me, and then in my communication with them, that they're not only top of mind for me, but I am reaching out to them in a way that I've learned that they appreciate, whether it is their preferred means of communication, the frequency, and certainly the tone. So I have people that will tell me, saying, I have brokers calling me all day. And that's, you know, that's the good, because I've found my people, right? And that's regardless of which country they're from or whatever. They understand the value that I bring and the thought that I put into their needs, etc. So it's not just ultra high net worth or high net worth. It's you know, one of my clients referred to me their nephew recently, and I'm helping the nephew now. And sure enough, on Friday, and this is where I'm going right now, that client, because I'm taking care of his nephew in the same way that I take care of him, he texted me, said, by the way, we want to go look at XYZ down the road here. And that's where I'm headed after this for another showing. So it makes sense what to do, but it's also a relationship builder. So I guess in a nutshell, that's what it is. Identifying the type of client you're seeking out, recognizing that you can't be all things to all people. And it's okay if you, after dealing with somebody for a relatively short amount of time, recognizing that maybe you're not the best broker for them, and putting them in the hands of a trusted client that you think, or trusted colleague rather, that you think would work better for them, and they feel that everything's good. So, you know, that's important, to recognize your own strengths and still make sure that if a client that you feel is not a good fit for you, that they're still treated with respect and taken care of in another way.
Arno, I love talking to you. And before I let you go, I would like people to know, how can they find you and what is new in your market? Maybe tell them what's new in your market, what are exciting projects that you are featuring on right now and that you're presenting, and, you know, how can they find you?
Sure. On Instagram, they can find me at De Vos Presents. If they go on YouTube and they type either my name, which is Arno De Vos on the screen there, or De Vos Presents, they'll find some videos that I've done in recent months and years, and my phone number and things. WhatsApp me, and certainly they can email me, info@devospresents.com. If they want to see the website that I was talking about that TREMGroup built for me, it is devospresents.com, and there's an example of what we're on. And it's always evolving. So what's great, your question about what is new in the market, you know, I think Miami really is one of the markets that evolves at a really fast pace. So I'd say the level, 2012 to 2018, and we have really the tail end of that. Bigger was better, and you still see developers building these buildings that are larger than life, and everything is about, let's make it Las Vegas, and that's fine too. I think that there's people that really love that kind of resort style living, but what I find interesting right now is we're going to see, and we're starting to see it already, where there's a different kind of I wouldn't call it a global, but it's more like it's an aesthetic and a style and a sensibility that's coming to Miami that I think is going to be a little bit more understated. There's a bigger, tents in my opinion, aren't as aggressive. You have more flowing lines, you have more understated color palettes. And there's just more thought given to how these residences are going to live. So of course, with everything that's happened over the last 2 years, we all know Miami is not just the pied-à-terre to come down to for Art Basel and a weekend here and there. 3-bedroom is the new 2-bed, or the 2-bedroom is the new 3-bed, because people are working from home. They're spending months at a time down here, and developers have taken notice. So the units tend to be larger. They're living like primary residences potentially, at least for a good part of the year. And I think the city as a whole is going to benefit from that. So you do short-term rentals, and there's a place for that, and there's a buyer pro for that for sure. But I think I call it more the pure residential side. I think these buildings that are going to come online, certainly in the next 3 to 5 years, that are being launched now and in the months ahead, watch this space. They're going to start that's looking for something that's elegant, that where the address is something that they're really proud to call home, versus sometimes there's not a big name just slapped on the front door.
Well, I think that is awesome for our market and for you, and I appreciate so much your time, Arno. I know we had some technical issues, but it has been my pleasure talking to you. I can't wait to have a second conversation. I know that you're going to come back to the podcast, and I can't wait to have you here. So thank you so much again, and I appreciate it.